Welcome to Thors Hammer, a roundtable discussion on the Minnesota Vikings by Viking fans from around the country. Each week we gather and discuss and hammer out everything about the Minnesota Vikings, what we saw the previous week, what we see in store for the upcoming matchup, and the few surprises along the way. Join us each week as we launch on a new adventure. It's here. It's Thors Hammer.
Doing excellent, Bob. It's nice, just the two of us.
The travel costs are way down.
Yeah, we can drink. We can drink a lot more.
Absolutely. We are in Cambridge, Massachusetts, at a place called the 730 Tavern. It is a Viking bar. We'll get more into that later when we have a special guest on. But It's kind of cool. You know, they have State Fair beer on tap in this place.
Yeah, Minnesota brewery, imported into Boston. It's kind of cool.
So Papa and I have like 6 pitches in front of us, 4 of them already empty. I'll make that 5.
Yeah, sounds like you're fishing. It was this big.
I'm seeing double already. So coming off a huge divisional win in a game, basically it was a must-win, beating Green Bay at home, 24-17. The skeptics out there were saying Kirk Cousins not as good as he's getting paid to be, so on. But the guy had a monster game.
He did. He didn't have a huge game, but he threw a lot of yards, made some great throws under pressure, and that's the Kirk Cousins that we certainly want to see all the time. But I was one of those skeptics. I've kind of been saying that at the beginning of the year, but he's proven to be better than I kind of thought he was going to be. So. I hope it continues.
Well, I agree with you on one thing. You know, he's not great quite yet. I mean, he's had some bad games that make people say he was not earning that money. But, against Green Bay this year, I think he's thrown for over 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah, he's played fantastic at the Packers, and that's exactly what we want. You know, you got to beat those division teams.
This past week, he was at 76% passing. I think it was like 29 for 38, over 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you expect from a quarterback. You know, we ran the ball, not great, but 3.1 average is way better than what we did the week before against Chicago.
Yeah, and then all the problems that the Vikings have on offense obviously go right to the offensive line, and that's a lot to do with the running game. That's a lot to do with Kirk's pocket presence and his tendency to kind of hold on to the ball and make a bad throw. So if that can be fixed here in the next 5 weeks, we could be sitting pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're playing the Green Bay defense, which is basically a sieve compared to the Bears defense. So you get the good and the bad back-to-back weeks. So it's easier to compare. It's easier to have a good week after a bad week. So somewhere in the middle would be average, I guess. And, we'll take that.
Yeah, and it is a big win against the Packers, but obviously, we beat the snot out of the Packers. It was a walking wounded by the end of that game. So you kind of look at it too, going, well, geez, it wasn't that great of a win with a pretty banged up Packers team. But God, anytime they got Aaron Rodgers upright, he can kill you. So in that respect, it was a big win.
Yeah, I mean that's our arch rival. Beat them every time we can. I don't care if we're 2-14, as long as both those wins against the Packers.
Yeah, and I hope the Packers are nice and healthy for when they face the Bears coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, because they're more than willing to want to help us.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
But let's move on. Mm-hmm. We have another big game this weekend.
We are.
On the road.
Start of a really tough stretch.
I thought it was the start. This is like right the middle. We had at Chicago, home of Green Bay. Now on the road in New England, followed by a Monday nighter in Seattle.
Yeah.
East Coast to West Coast, back-to-back weeks. Thank you, schedule makers.
Exactly.
Probably the first time we haven't played in Green Bay in December, but thanks.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, so we got that, but now we go East Coast, West Coast, back-to-back weeks.
Yeah,
in
and
prime time.
this is going to be this is a killer game that's sitting in front of us. You know, you got the New England Patriots. You know, the odds-on favorite every year for the last how many years?
18.
Super, yeah, probably to win the Super Bowl, and we're going in their house. This is a tough matchup.
It truly is. I mean, the Pats are undefeated at home. They're not bad on the road, but they can be beat. But Brady's not having a Brady year, which is a good thing. So maybe if we get some pressure on him, who was it? The Titans got some pressure on him, and basically they beat the snot out of the Pats. But again, that was in Tennessee.
Yeah,
Vikings are not very good on the road outdoors. We are 0-2-1. Losses at LA and Chicago, but both games we were in the game, so that's a good sign. And of course, the tie with the Packers.
yeah.
I don't know what to make of this. I mean, I heard today that both Stephon Diggs and Xavier Rhodes missed practice, and they are both doubtful for this weekend.
Yeah, we certainly
The
seen
Pats being
Xavier
favored.
walking, well, not really walking off the field last week, so that's not a surprise, but certainly a surprise. Stephon Diggs showing up on the injury report.
Yeah, especially with the Pats favored by 6 right now. That number might go way up if Diggs and Rhodes aren't playing, and this might be the dog of the year for the Vikings. I mean,
Yeah.
this game has a possibility of us getting blown out.
Yeah,
if
well, I
that
certainly
happens.
hope not. I know when we've looked in past years under Zimmer, and it looks like, you know, all is lost and there's no way we can win a game, and they come up and surprise you. So hopefully that's one of those games this week with those guys. If those guys are out, they can figure out a way to overcome that.
I'm seriously hoping as well. Especially I live out here.
Yeah,
I can't stand the Patriots, and I'm gonna have to put up with all their fans like I do every 4 years.
Yeah.
Actually, every week, every year. But it's when we play the Pats every 4 years. It's not fun for me lately.
no,
We haven't
no.
won since what, 01 or 02 against them, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while. In fact, Brady has never lost to the Vikings, and that's this will be the 5th opportunity for him to lose, and hopefully that happens this weekend. I know I keep saying that; it's not like a broken record, but it's got to happen once. He's faced 2 other teams that he has not lost to this year, and has lost both of them. So maybe 3's a charm, and this is it. You know, we got to get to him. Got to get
Let's
him on the
keep that
ground.
trend going.
Mm-hmm. You bet.
So, in your mind, what do we have to do to win the game? I mean, it's the same old story: run the ball, protect the quarterback, get pressure on Brady.
Well, I think that is the obvious question. I think we can dive a little bit deeper into that. The Patriots secondary is ranked 30th in the league. So if we can exploit that, now they're also, you know, they're under pressure. They put pressure on the quarterback to rank like number 3. So you've got to be able, that offensive line has to step it up and give Kirk some time to exploit that secondary of New England. And obviously you've got to frustrate Tom Brady when he's frustrated, when he's got hands on him, he doesn't like it, and he gets frustrated, and that's an opportunity for the Vikings to intercept the ball or cause a fumble and get a turnover. It's going to be tight, and it's going to come down to who wins the turnover battle. And hopefully it doesn't come down to a stinking field goal.
I don't know. I mean, you're saying Brady doesn't like hands on him. I feel bad for Giselle because I'd love her hands on me.
Well, yeah, we don't need to talk about that, but yeah.
A few other body parts, but that's just me. Actually, probably not just me, but anyway, I agree that we have to put pressure on Brady. He gets frustrated easy. And unfortunately for the rest of the league, he's not getting much pressure for the past since 01. When he has pressure, he's what's the word I'm looking for? Not mediocre. He's mortal.
Yeah.
When he has all the time, he can pick you apart. And they have so many weapons on there. There's no real superstars on offense. Maybe Edelman and Gronkowski, but Gronkowski's always hurt. Edelman had some problems this year with suspension. But they have this rookie now, Sony Michel, who seems pretty healthy. I wouldn't be surprised that the guy coming off the IR now they have Rex Burkhead. I wouldn't be surprised he comes out of nowhere because no one's thinking about him and has a monster game.
Yeah, he's got fresh legs, and yeah, that could be a killer. And if Brady's being pressured, they're going to try to get rid of the ball really fast and screen passes and different misdirection plays. And those have kind of killed the Vikings at times.
If I'm the Patriots, I'm sitting there going, all right, I'm looking at one of the best defensive lines in the league.
Yeah.
I know that they're going to want to get pressure on me, so let them in. We'll dump it off.
Yeah. Well, and you're also looking at some injuries on the other side, and you're looking at Anthony Harris and a Holton Hill. I think he's going to be picking on Holton Hill a little bit if he can get to him.
Yeah. If Rhodes isn't playing, which so far he hasn't practiced, Harris is doing very well. Between Harris and J-Ron Curtis, they've been filling in nicely for Andrew Sendejo, who has been placed on IR and done for the year.
Yeah.
Possibly forever as a Viking.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it.
Yeah. Well, if it is, well, thank you, Andrew, and good luck to you in the future.
Oh yeah, he's been a hell of a player for the Vikings. Even when every year, kind of like Marcus Sherrills, you think every year it's the time to replace Zendejo, and he proves you wrong, and he's still out there. So amazing.
Last year he had a pretty good year. The year before that, he was taking out everybody, including his own players.
Yeah.
So he got a little bit more involved on his hits, targeting the right people. So he played a little more intelligently.
Yeah.
And his game stepped up. Anthony Harris, who I don't know if anybody knows me, knows I was a big fan of this kid in college. I've been pimping him since we took him on as an undrafted free agent. Kid's a ball hawk, always around the ball. Don't forget that the big game-saving tackle he had against the Saints last year in the playoff game, the 1-yard line. People don't really remember that, but that was him.
Honestly, the reason why Zendejo's not playing is because football has become too soft for him. It's not as violent as it needs to be for him.
To be honest with you, I agree with him.
It's changing.
I'm old school. I miss the Ronnie Lotts, John Lynch, those type of players. I miss those players. The problem taking a 15-yard penalty to take your head off. Now you're afraid to go over the middle.
Yeah.
Defense wins.
Afraid to put your hand on the quarterback.
Yeah. No, you can't touch anybody. Leading with the helmet, going to the head. I get it, concussions and stuff, but falling on the quarterback with all your weight, really?
Yeah, no, it's a bunch of crap. So,
but anyway, this game, I love being a homer as a Viking fan.
Yeah,
this one is going to be tough to be a homer on.
I agree.
Cook has to have a hell of a game, and Murray's got to help him as well. You got to protect Cousins. If Diggs doesn't play, they'll probably double team Thielen. So Rudolph's going to have to step up, and maybe Treadwell or Aldrich Robinson.
Yeah. And Kyle Rudolph certainly stepped up last week, caught a few balls. That was nice to see. That's something we haven't really seen all year. So, and if Aldrich Robinson can certainly step up, I know Kirk missed him on a play in that game last week that would have went for a big one. We're going to need it. Everybody's going to have to be on key for this game. No mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, we have injuries. Every team has injuries. I'll use one of the Patriots mantra, next man up.
Yeah.
So who's the next man up? Let's get in there, go up there and do your job, and make sure we don't really miss the player you're replacing. I'm going to be a superstar. I just got to do your job. My God, I sound like Bill Belichick.
Yeah, well, you are a good what do I say, podcaster. You're like one of the best, Bob.
Well, no more questions on Cincinnati. All week. Them two, Zimmer and Belichick, have been going back and forth telling about how good each other is. So I don't know if it's a game or if they really believe it or what. I think it's mutual respect. I think Belichick teams had problems playing against Zimmer defenses over the years.
Yeah, I was curious on that. I wanted to go back and take a look, but I didn't get very far. So I was wondering how Zimmer did against Belichick, and I would imagine it's pretty good.
Yeah, he did very well when he was with the Bengals. Very well. I think they won. I think it was broke Brady's streak of touchdown passes or something like that,
okay,
and really put a hurt on him. And even Brady said, "I seen stuff I'd never seen before." So
yeah, well, hopefully we see more of the same with that, and hopefully DiFilippo has been saving up his game plan for this game here this week, and surprises us as well.
Yeah, D. Filippo, he might be a one and done as a Viking OC. There's rumors coming around that the Browns are interested now in him. Who knows?
Yeah, I think Mike McCarthy is going to be the next Browns head coach, but we'll see.
I know people are going to hate me saying this, but if McCarthy gets fired and D. Filippo goes to the Packers, I wouldn't mind having McCarthy come to Minnesota as an offensive coordinator.
Really?
He's not bad.
I would
He
would
knows-
hire
he knows
the
offense,
I would hire the Packers offensive line coach.
especially if you take like Bakhtiari with him and Beluga.
Yeah, well, I think he's done a phenomenal job with really not a whole lot, and no one really talks about. And I don't even know the guy's name, but he's done a phenomenal job. So
Have to agree. Well, at
What-
this time,
yeah.
we go to commercial here. It's time. So we get our pitchers refilled.
yeah,
I'm empty.
we've got a new drop from our sponsor.
Excellent.
Let's take a listen.
Men, when your wife is wide open and wants you to throw one deep to her, but you run a draw play and barely hit the hole, or on those crazy nights when she calls for the end around and you can only hand off, well, cheer up. The makers of Viagra can help. Just one purple pill 20 minutes before kickoff, and not only do you score, but you will split the uprights on the extra point. So call now at 1-800-BIGHORN for your free sample. And remember, if your erection lasts more than 4 hours, call her sister. Physician.
Hey, men, don't be shy. Purple pill, baby.
Yeah. Don't miss the hole. Whatever.
That's right. I can't say that. This is a
Yeah.
family show.
I know. Make sure it's the right one.
Anyway,
Family show.
great to have a sponsor. Hopefully, we get a few more of them.
Yeah.
That one's still going to be my favorite for a couple of years. I don't care how many we have. I
Probably,
just,
probably. We probably need to get a new spokesmodel though.
yeah. A sexy.
We do need.
female
We do.
voice.
Well, I think there's one out there.
Well, if we had that, would we really need the Viagra?
No, probably not. All right. Hey, let's
Conundrum.
let's talk to this guy you've got bringing here. Let's talk to Ryan.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I want to introduce Mr. Ryan Buck. He is the founding member of Minnesota Viking fans in Boston.
Hey guys, welcome to Boston. Good to have you here at 730 Tavern.
Thanks, man.
How's everybody
Thanks.
doing?
We're doing very well. Well, we thank you for joining us. Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, guys, I grew up in Woodbury, Minnesota. And shout out to everybody back home. I've been in Boston for 10 years now. And, you mentioned it's a big group here for the Vikings games at the Tavern, but it wasn't always that way. Back in 2010 when I started the group, it was a handful of homesick Minnesotans in the back of the bar, huddled around one TV. And now we've grown to a group that's, at capacity for some games. The Miracle game was, standing room only. It's quite remarkable.
Would you say you have over 100 fans showing up?
Over 100 fans show up at every game this year, including the night games. It's unbelievable.
Wow, that's amazing. Well done. Bravo.
So Ryan, did the
Yeah,
bar
it's
have
been-
the Vikings game on like at the beginning, or is it something you had to request?
Yeah, actually it was the 2010 NFC Championship game. Hate to bring that up.
Yeah.
But that was the first time having a big group gathered there, and they, us being Minnesota nice as we are, the owners of the bar were so happy and welcoming. We decided that was going to be our regular spot, and so then when the next season started, there we were. We posted up a regular meetup group, and they were happy to host us every week.
This weekend, like we said, the Vikings are invading New England, and so are a bunch of fans. So Ryan is hosting a large gathering on Saturday night, and I'll let him give you all the juicy details so I don't mess it up.
That's right. right here at 730 Tavern. We're going to have a Boston fan rally, and we're inviting all out of town and in town Minnesota Vikings fans who've traveled out here to join us from 6 to 9 o'clock. And we're going to have some giveaways, we're going to have some prizes, we're going to do some Skull Champ, and it's going to be a good time.
6 to 9? Most Viking fans don't even start drinking until then.
Nobody's going to make you leave at 9 o'clock.
So 6 to 1. 6 to closing time.
So Ryan, is that you putting that on, or is that any involvement with the Vikings, like the First Fleet or anything like that?
I'm glad you asked, actually. It is the Fleet crew actually sent out a box of swag, so
Okay.
we will have some of the Fleet rally towels and some of the other giveaways. And people will be excited about that. It was really generous for them to send the box of all the gear, so it really makes me feel, after 10 years, almost 10 years more legitimized that I've been recognized by the organization.
Yeah, in New York they did that, and I think that went very well. Wabi was out there, and a former Tony Richardson player was out there, and that was kind of neat. I don't know if you've got anything like that going on, but it's nice that the Vikings are involved in getting more of that type of thing going, because it appears that the Vikings nation is big and getting bigger. The more like the cities that I go to, there's just more and more of these, there's fan groups everywhere, and it just seems to be growing. So
Yeah, there really is. And you know what I think that is from? Is because, and I've noticed it over the years, social media just wasn't what it was 10 years ago, and it was hard to connect with people.
yeah,
But now it's so easy. At the bar, there's probably a dozen or half a dozen people who just say, hey, I'm just in town for the weekend. I'm here for work, vacation, visiting. And I Googled where to watch the Vikings in Boston, and you were the top spot that came up. And there they are. It's great.
Huh.
So I'm just happy to provide a home for Minnesota Vikings fans, when they're on the road, especially out here in hostile New England territory.
well, yeah. Is it really that bad?
It's different out here. There's, you talk about Minnesota nice, and then the opposite end of the spectrum is in Boston.
Okay.
So not like nobody's going to give you a hard time for wearing a Minnesota, Vikings jersey or hat or anything. The New England fans are so into their teams that they couldn't care. They just assume they're going to win, and they could care less. They probably think it's comical.
Yeah.
I wear got my Vikings stuff on today for work, and
Okay.
nobody, a couple, double takes, but nobody's gonna give me a hard time.
So does the group have a Facebook page, or how?
We do,
Okay.
absolutely. It's a very clever name. It's Minnesota Vikings fans in Boston.
Yeah, that is.
Easy to find.
It's very original.
Well, I want to add into your invasion party that I spoke to many of my friends in the Viking World Order, and they plan on attending as well.
Well, that's going to be a good time when they show up.
Oh yeah, it always is.
Yes. They're some of the nicest people you ever want to meet.
The outfit.
That'll be probably Sunday. I don't think they'll be wearing them Saturday night, but you never know. Until you have drank beers with this crew, you haven't drank beers.
Yeah, they have the picture
Everybody
crew.
better have their drinking shoes on Saturday.
They don't drink from glasses. They drink from the pitcher straight.
Oh, they drink from horns.
Some of them do. That's usually
Pitcher holds
tailgating,
more.
but
So it's going to be a huge party at the 730 Tavern. Saturday night,
Absolutely.
starting at 6. Going on to the wee hours of the morning,
Yeah.
or when the police throw us out.
Exactly. Just don't sleep in and miss the bus to Foxborough the next morning. That's my advice.
yeah, which brings up you're doing a big tailgate then for the game.
That's right. We thought we'd get a few people together, so before I knew it, I had sold out 2 55-passenger charter buses that will be heading down to Foxborough. And as soon as we roll in the lot, actually, before we roll into the lot, the party starts. So anybody else making their way down there is welcome to join us. We'll be in lot number 52. Just look for the buses, and we'll have some flags up, so you should be able to find us.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a blast.
Absolutely.
Don't let the forecast rain on your parade. We're going to have a good time no matter the weather.
Rain never stopped us from pillaging. It won't stop us from watching a
Exactly.
game.
Exactly.
So, Ryan, what is your prediction of the outcome of this game?
You know, I'm going to say the Vikings are going to have a better week. I'm going to say Minnesota over New England, 21-14.
I like this guy.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I think 200 plus Viking fans ought to add a little mojo to the Vikings, and that's good. You gotta show up and you gotta represent and bring the Vikings a win. So good job out of you and the group that you're putting together for this tailgate and the fan rally. That's awesome.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure to hang out with you guys at the tavern here tonight, and really appreciate you guys coming out and recording your show here.
We thank you for letting us invade your home. We'd like to thank the owners of the bar
Absolutely. And
for having us.
one more note, if you are in Boston this weekend but you don't have tickets, you're not making your way down to the game, you can watch the game and every Vikings game at 7:30 Tavern. But special this weekend, owner of Fair State Brewing Company is going to be joining us at the tavern, so you can drink a Fair State beer with the founder himself. So
That itself is cool.
You bet.
Am I watching the game? That itself is cool. Having a beer with the founder
Yeah,
of
he's
a
a good
brewery.
So Ryan, I've got another question for you on the Viking fan group. So if there's somebody around the country somewhere else where they'd like to kind of do the same thing that you're doing, what do you recommend for them how to get started?
I probably took longer than I needed to, but I took probably a season and a half just Googling and making sure there wasn't already a Vikings bar in Boston, which there was not. So start there, see if there's one already that you can join forces in case some momentum. But if not, find a bar that has NFL Sunday ticket and has the capacity to, bring 100 or more Minnesota Vikings fans.
And invite Thors Hammer to your bar.
Exactly. That helps.
Yeah, they better have good tater tots.
And beer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, social media is just the word spreads like wildfire. There are so many fan groups that, if you start a new club, you can post up in. And usually Vikings fans, if they're out of town, the first things they're going to do is where to watch the game. That way they can find your site. So you just have to be online, post often, and make sure that people can find you.
We absolutely like to thank you very much for joining us and being part of the show this week. Tell all your friends at Minnesota Vikings fans in Boston to give a listen.
Enjoy, guys.
Skol.
Go.
Well, we heard Ryan's pick.
Yes.
You want to get into your pick?
That means one of us can be a little pessimistic with this game, right? Since we at least got somebody picking the Vikings to win.
Oh, I'll be honest with you. Maybe twice a year I pick against the Vikings,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you this week will be one of them. So
All right.
I'll be the pessimistic guy.
Okay. well, I'm gonna reign optimistic then, because I just can't pick against the Vikings. So I'm gonna say the Vikings are going to pull this one out, and it's actually going to be a Marcus Sherrill's punt return touchdown that's going to be the difference. It's going to be Vikings 31 and New England 24.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see that. I really, 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 really would, because I hope it's like with 4 seconds left in the game. So people at my local watering hole are really, really mad at me. Fun about rooting for a different team.
Well,
But unfortunately,
if that's the case, wouldn't you just rather have it be a Vikings blowout then, just to really rub it in for hours, or do you think they'd just quit watching?
either one works for me.
All right. Just as long as it's a win.
Yeah. But I'm not betting with the heart here. I'm betting with the brain. The Patriots don't lose at home, almost ever.
19-2 in December.
Yeah. I think they are going to win this one. I want to go 28-20.
Thanks, Debbie.
I just, with Diggs and Rhodes not playing, possibly, it's really going to be tough. And I don't think we have the team to do it. I hate saying that. My God.
No, I understand. I think this is just going to be a game that we're just surprised by. It's unexpected, and it's time. I mean, if this team's going to go anywhere this year, this is the game to do it. This is the time to step up. You know, there's no other game on this schedule the rest of the season that is really going to be any bigger than this one right here. Especially when you look at the Bears leading the division, and we're sitting in a good wild card spot, but we need this win bad.
It's a game the Pats need to have too. I mean, right now they're second in the AFC. They're about a game behind the Chiefs, but they beat the Chiefs, so the Chiefs lose. Pats will jump to number 1. I know the Pats still going to play the Steelers later on, and if Steelers win that game, they'll bump ahead of the Pats and knock them down to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I know the Pats beat the Texans early in the year, so who cares about the AFC? But it's an important game for the Patriots, so you know they're going to be on their game like 99.9% of the other times they play. I think we either squeak it out in a win or we just get blown out. I don't see us losing a squeaker. I don't. I think we either do everything right and squeak it out, or we do everything wrong and get blown out.
Well, that's depressing.
Well, part of it was good. We squeak out the win. I'll take a 1-point win. I don't care.
Well, yeah, I'll take a win certainly. So I don't want to blow out though. There's not enough pitchers on this table to take care of that.
Well, I can take care of that. Waitress.
Yeah.
Another round. 2 more. Thank you. So yeah, I took care of it.
All right.
Anything more you want to add about this game?
I don't think so. I think that's good. It's time to get ready for the game.
I'm already starting drinking.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's only Thursday. I got nothing more to say about this game other than please win, Viking. I hate the Patriots. I hate their fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Please do me one solid.
Yeah, they got to win because there ain't enough beer on the table if the Vikings get blown out in this game or lose, right?
Correct.
Here, try some of these tater tots.
All right. It's a Minnesota special, right?
It is log on to go along with the Minnesota beer.
Josh, sure.
Yeah,
You betcha, right? I'll
You
fit
bet.
right in here, even with the Boston accent.
you betcha. Arr. All right, man.
You know-
Skol, everybody.
You know what? These are pretty good.
You got some on your chin there.
I hear that a lot. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. As always, Skol Vikings. Thank you, 730 Tavern. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us. Beat the Patriots.
Skol.
We'll do that Sunday.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.